This is our annual 5th District Community Relations Awards Banquet that we have every year. We'd like to thank you for coming. I will now introduce the Commander of the 5th District, Samuel Morris.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening. How's everyone doing today? Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome everyone to our event this year, the 5th District Police Awards Ceremony. The awards to be presented today are in recognition of police officers who have performed their duties to an extraordinary and exemplary manner, and also for citizens who have made significant contributions to law enforcement and the overall effectiveness of it. Again, and to the citizens who have made a significant contribution to the overall effectiveness to law enforcement. I would like to recognize the city officials and other special guests who have joined us for today's ceremony. Please welcome the Honorable Mayor Frank G. Jackson, the 56th Mayor of the City of Cleveland.
Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to the 5th District Annual Celebration of the Award Ceremony, and want to congratulate all of the people who will be recognized this evening, not only police officers, but the civilians, and really thank them for their service. Public service, as I always say, is an honorable and a great profession, but it's not made for everybody. But those who do it and do it well impact the quality of life of individuals, families, and communities. So I want to thank those officers and those citizens who have done their job and done it in a way that we want to recognize them this evening. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. Next, I would like to welcome City of Cleveland Assistant Safety Director Eckhart.
Thank you, Commander. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Director McGrath, he extends his well wishes and congratulations to all of the recipients and family members this evening. Also, on behalf of the Department of Public Safety, the Divisions of Fire, EMS, Animal Care and Control, and House of Corrections, we're proud of those officers and civilians that will receive awards tonight. And in public safety, we're a family. We are all out on the streets providing care and service to the citizens of Cleveland, hand in hand, and to be able to be part of this award ceremony tonight is an honor and a privilege, and I just want to extend my congratulations and welcome everyone this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Eckhart. Please welcome the City of Cleveland Chief of Police, Calvin D. Williams.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good, good. It's always good to come back home. This is my district that I started in as a rookie on the police division some 3 decades ago. But it seems like yesterday. I want to congratulate the award recipients, both our police officers and our citizens. This is what it's all about. Police officers and citizens coming together to make our city better. And the 5th District does a tremendous job in that. I also want to thank Job Corps for their support over the years and making this event as nice as it is. I mean, this is a nice venue. They've done a great job with it. And Job Corps always supports us. You know, we talk a lot about our participation and making the community better, but this epitomizes that. And the folks here should be proud of what they built here and we need to make sure we keep on with that tradition of making sure that our community and our residents, our police officers all come together to make things better. So again, congratulations to the people that are receiving awards, both our officers and our citizens. You do a great job for us, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we would like the Director of the Job Corps to come up and say a few words. We would like to thank him for giving us opportunity to have this excellent event here.
Good evening, everyone. We're just honored to be a part of this celebration every year. Our staff and our students back there is honored to serve you and your families. And one of our core values here at the Cleveland Job Corps Center is overall safety and security. So we have a lot of students, we have a lot of young adults that are looking forward to careers in the safety field and private security. You see them in their uniforms back there, and the Firefighter Academy and so forth. So we just love that we're able to participate, and you're modeling this excellent leadership and citizenship. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Houston. We appreciate that. Next up, we would like to have Mr. Grady Stevens. He's the Interim Director of Community Relations.
Good evening. How's everybody this evening? As the Director of Community Relations, I'd like to say, first of all, thank you to the Job Corps Center for allowing us to have this event here this evening. I'd like to thank the citizens and also the police officers that will be honored here this evening. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank those who had a hand in putting this together. So to our 5th District Rep, Rick, you did an outstanding job, and I want to thank you here publicly for the work that you've done, and all those that had a hand in putting this together. And I'd just like to ask you, just take a look around the room, if you would, and see all the lovely faces and the beautiful people that are in the room this evening. And if we can have representation like this in a room like this where we honor those who are doing the work, we need to take that out into the streets so that people know. When we come together, we all look much better than when we're separated. So I want to say again, thank you for your service. Thank you for all the good work that you do, and God bless you.
Next up, I would like to present Mr. Bob Gutu from the Cleveland Police Foundation. And during the awards presentation, I would just like everyone to know that all our awardees will also receive a letter of congratulations from State Senator Sandra Williams and proclamation from the Cuyahoga County Councilman of Ward 10, Anthony Harrison. Mr. Gutu.
Thank you, Commander. Every year, the Cleveland Police Foundation gives their community service awards to folks in every district, each of the 5 districts, a citizen, an officer, and an organization that go beyond the call of duty. So that's what we're going to do right now, if you bear with us. Hi, Mike. Is Belinda present? Okay. Ms. Bray is an employee of the Cleveland Job Corps. She has been an ambassador for the Cleveland Job Corps for many years. She continually opens her heart to her service to those in her community, through her service to those in the community. Ms. Bray is a leader and a mentor for the Job Corps students. She assists with all of the 5th District community events. This not only includes setting up, but also humbly serving community members during the 5th District Pancake Breakfast, Night Out Against Crime, Safety Fair, 5th District Halloween Party, Spaghetti Dinner, and Ice Cream Social. Ms. Bray is an example of the impact one person can make in her community. She's an example of how one person can affect and touch the lives of so many others with her actions. It is with great pleasure we recognize Ms. Belinda Bay for her selfish contributions to her community and her assistance with the 5th District in bridging the gap between the community and the police officers that serve in it. For her tireless efforts in giving back to the community, Belinda Bray is recognized as the recipient of the Cleveland Police Foundation Award for Outstanding Community Service by a Citizen. Detective Terry Sanders. Detective Terry Sanders, she has been an ambassador for the Division of Police as she exemplifies the core values of pride. Detective Sanders has faithfully served the citizens of Cleveland and her community since she became a police officer in 2001. Detective Sanders is presently a detective of the 5th District Commander's Office. She faithfully serves not only as a district administrative officer, but also schedules special events that include, but are not limited to, community relations, pancake breakfast, the 5th District Halloween party, movie nights for the youth of the 5th District, and assisting with all of the community festivals and ice cream socials. Detective Sanders excels in community relations and is truly an ambassador for the Cleveland Division of Police. Terry connects engaged citizens wanting to help others in the community with other community members that are less fortunate. In some cases, Terry is able to do so anonymously to keep the disadvantaged person's dignity intact. She devotes a tremendous amount of time and energy, both on and off duty, to organizing events, and in some cases has even used her own personal resources. Terry is also responsible for organizing the 5th District's award presentation and ceremony. For her tireless efforts in giving back to the community, Detective Terry Sanders is recognized as a recipient of the Cleveland Police Foundation's Award for Outstanding Community Service by a Police Officer. For her dedication to duty and her outstanding contributions to community service, the Cleveland Police Foundation is pleased to recognize Detective Terry Sanders with the Award for Outstanding Community Service by a Police Officer. Representing Dave's Supermarket is Timothy Tatarowitz, present. No. Okay, I'll read about Dave's Supermarket if you don't already know how important he has been to the Greater Cleveland Police Department and the community in general. For the past 15 years, 5th District Police Safety Fair has been sponsored by and held on the grounds of the Dave's You Can Beat Supermarket at 15600 Lakeshore Boulevard. The Safety Fair is one of our most attended events, averaging 300 to 400 people each year. In addition to accommodating this event, Dave's You Could Beat Supermarket has supported us by also providing our guests with refreshments and hospitality, thanks to Tim. While Mr. Tatarowitz has been the store manager of Dave's You Could Beat Supermarket for the past 3 years, Tim has worked for the company for 37 years. Tim has always been helpful to the Cleveland Police, most especially to the 5th District with our special events that have been held for the community. We have always been able to count on Dave's Supermarket and Tim for support in numerous events throughout the years. We are grateful and would like to thank Dave's You Could Beat Supermarket, Timmy Tatarowitz and his staff for 4 years of dedicated and continuous support. For exhibiting faithful, unselfish service to the community, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Timothy Tatarowitz, the Cleveland Police Community Foundation Service Award. Would Dr. Esther Williams come forward, please? The food pantry staff is nominating Dr. Esther Williams, the coordinator for the Arthur Bell Food Pantry of the Beulah Baptist Church, for the Cleveland Police Community Foundation Service Award. Dr. Williams is a very giving and caring person not only to her immediate family, but to the church and community as a whole. On any given day, she works right along with the staff, making sure that others' needs are met, whether it's food or a need for clothing or a spiritual work. She often personally ensures that each food pantry bag is filled with a nourishing, balanced diet for every meal. Besides being a devoted wife to Dr. A.E. Williams for 51 years, she is a mother, grandmother, godmother, and sister to many in her church congregation. She teaches Sunday school, serving as an advisor of various ministries within her church. She even helps monitor the halls at her grandchildren's school. As a facilitator and speaker for several school events and church engagements, Dr. Williams strives to take care of others. Dr. Williams has received numerous service awards for excellence in directing the food pantry. Best Neighborhood Award President's Volunteer Service Award, presented by President Barack Obama, the National Community Service Award, a congressional recognition presented by Marcia L. Fudge, U.S. Member of Congress, Dean of the Year Award, presented by the National Baptist Convention Midwest Region, a celebration for First Lady's honoree by Kevin Conwell, Councilman Ward 8, just to name a few. She's also an advocate, prayer warrior, and who lives by the scripture, Ephesians 4:3-2, be ye kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. For exhibiting faithful, unselfish service to the pantry since 1999, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Dr. Esther Williams, with the Cleveland Police Community Foundation Service Award.
Hello, everybody. I'm pulling double duty tonight as Acting Captain Chuck DePente couldn't make it. At this time, I would like to call forward officers to receive their awards. And these officers will be receiving the Special Accommodation Award. The Special Accommodation Award is an award awarded to those police officers who distinguish themselves by performing valuable police service, which demonstrates special diligence and perseverance. If I may have Officer Andrew Passante and Officer Reginald Sullivan please rise. On October 4th, 2016, Officer Andrew Passante and Officer Reginald Sullivan received information about a suspect wanted for an active homicide warrant. Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan took the initiative to complete an informational profile on the suspect, learn the type of vehicle the male operated, and performed systematic searches of the area where the suspect was known to frequent. When Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan located the vehicle, they also located the suspect, who upon doing so fled. Coordinating with other officers in the area, Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan apprehended the male without incident or use of force. All of these actions took place on the very same day that the warrant was issued for the suspect. Due to the alert, attentiveness, dedication, devotion to justice by Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan, a violent fugitive was taken off the streets of the city of Cleveland. Please step forward and receive your awards. Congratulations, guys. Now, if I may have Officer Kevin Warnock and Officer Alexander Gamuccio please rise? On August 13, 2016, Officer Warnock and Officer Gamuccio were patrolling their assigned zone when they recognized a juvenile male who was wanted on a warrant for attempted murder. The juvenile male was also a named suspect in numerous additional gang-related shootings. As the officers approached the male, the suspect fled to a nearby apartment building. The officers secured the building and waited for backup units to arrive. With the additional units in place, the officers searched the apartment building and eventually located the wanted male hiding out in one of the apartments. The suspect was subsequently arrested without incident. While in the same apartment, the officers identified and arrested an additional male who had a warrant for aggravated murder from an incident involving another gang-related incident. A search of this apartment also yielded a stolen .40 caliber handgun. Due to the attentiveness, dedication, and devotion to justice of these officers, two very violent and dangerous fugitives were taken off the streets of the city of Cleveland. For exhibiting initiative and special diligence, it is honored to bestow upon you, Officer Kevin Warnock and Officer Alexander Gamuccio, the Special Accommodation Award. Congratulations, guys. Detective Stephanie Murphy, please rise. At the time she was a detective. I'm sorry, I was corrected. That is Sergeant Stephanie Murphy. In my defense, she was a detective at the time of the incident. On August 22nd, 2016, Detective Stephanie Murphy, now Sergeant Stephanie Murphy, was working secondary employment at the Jack Casino. While in company of several other officers, Sergeant Murphy observed the male walk into the establishment guarding his right side as though he was protecting something. Believing that this was unusual and abnormal behavior, the officers followed their instincts and cautiously approached the male, isolating him from the other patrons. The officers conducted a pat-down of the male and discovered that he was armed with a .45 caliber, fully automatic Uzi machine gun, along with surplus ammunition. The firearm was secured and the male was taken into custody without incident. Due to her attentiveness, dedication, and great police work, Sergeant Stephanie Murphy intervened and stopped a potentially dangerous situation from taking place. Congratulations, ma'am. Now, if I may have Officer Sabrina Choate and Officer Ian Onifray please stand. On December 30th, 2016, Officer Choate and Officer Onifray were at a local gas station. A patron came out to ask for their assistance with a medical emergency inside the gas station. Officer Onifree quickly assessed the situation and radioed to communication control and to his partner that there was a male down, not breathing. Officer Onifree immediately began first aid. Officer Choate retrieved the departmental first aid kit and entered the store. The officers began CPR and took turns giving chest compressions and periodically checking for signs of life. The two officers even removed the victim's shirt and applied pads from the AED provided by EMS as trained. Once EMS arrived, the officers assisted in placing the victim on the backboard and strapped the male in for transport. These two officers demonstrated a high degree of personal initiative by performing life-saving efforts through their first aid training. They performed substantially beyond normal requirements. For exhibiting initiative, special diligence, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Officer Sabrina Choate and Officer Ian Onifree, the Special Commendation Award. Congratulations, officers. Now, if I may have Officer Anthony Longer and Officer Angela Gaston please rise. Angelia, I'm sorry, I apologize. On July 17, 2017, while on routine patrol, Officer Longer and Officer Gaston observed a maroon Buick, the same type of vehicle described in being involved in a homicide and several shooting incidents. Officer Longer and Officer Gaston decided to further investigate the vehicle and witnessed the operator of the vehicle enter a convenience store. Officer Longer and Officer Gaston detained the male when he exited the store. It was discovered that this male was in fact responsible for not only several felonious assault shootings, but also the homicide in question. Due to their attentiveness, dedication, and devotion to justice, because of these officers, a very violent and dangerous fugitive was taken off the streets of the city of Cleveland. For exhibiting initiative, bravery, teamwork, and special diligence, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Officer Longer and Officer Gaston, the Special Commendation Award. Congratulations, officers. If I could have Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan rise again, please. On February 6, 2017, Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan observed an older male sitting on the guardrail of the railing of the Superior Avenue Bridge over Martin Luther King Boulevard. The male appeared to be contemplating jumping off the bridge and into traffic below. The male was crying in an obvious crisis. Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan immediately stopped their vehicle and engaged the male in conversation. While Officer Passante was talking to the male, Officer Sullivan observed the male lay down on the guardrail and seized upon the moment to secure the male. Officer Sullivan grabbed the man's feet and Officer Passante grabbed a hold of the man's jacket, which allowed them to pull the distraught male back over the guard railing and to safety. Officer Passante and Officer Sullivan's exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and loyal devotion to duty reflect great credit upon them and in keeping with the highest traditions of the Cleveland Division of Police. For exhibiting initiative, special diligence, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Officer Andrew Passante and Officer Reginald Sullivan, the Special Commendation Award. Take two. Congratulations again, officers. Now I'd like to present the Chief's Commendation. The Chief's Commendation is a special award given to officers in recognition of an act that represents the officer's diligence to duty and furthering law enforcement ideals. If I may have Officer Sean Coleman, Officer Lester Webb, Officer Eric Hageman, Officer Ryan, please rise. Kenneth Ryan, I'm sorry. On August 8th, 2016, Officers Coleman, Webb, Hageman, and Ryan responded to an assignment to investigate the sighting of an armed male possibly involved in a homicide and a felonious assault shooting from the previous day. The officers quickly went to the area where the suspect was last seen and observed the described male in conversation with another male. The officers cautiously and tactfully approached the alleged armed male while giving him command orders. The officers' approach and tactics resulted in the male being taken into custody without incident and a seizure of a loaded .40 caliber firearm. The male's arrest led to the disclosure of valuable information regarding felonious criminal activity in this gang-besieged neighborhood. Your diligence to duty is a reflection of your dedication to law enforcement principles and is indicative of the great work that you and your colleagues perform every day in the furtherance of the enhancement of the image of the Cleveland Police Department. Congratulations to you, Officers Sean Coleman, Lester Webb, Eric Hageman, and Kenneth Ryan on your exemplary job performance. Congratulations, officers. I would like to now present the 5th District Commander's Commendation Award. The Commander's Commendation Award is awarded to 5th District officers in recognition of an act or acts that represent the officer's diligence to duty and furthering law enforcement ideals. May I please have Sergeant Kevin Kincaid, Detective Jeffrey Yasinchek, Detective Donald Kopchek, Detective Charles Davis, Detective Sean Smith, Detective Robert Sauter, Detective Benjamin McCulley, Detective Nicholas Harston, and Detective Randolph Murphy please stand. Throughout the year of 2017, our 5th District Vice Unit has worked extremely hard to identify, arrest, and successfully prosecute high-level drug traffickers who have been profiting off the unprecedented amount of heroin and fentanyl-related overdoses and deaths. As of October 1st, 2017, the 5th District Vice Unit has made 104 arrests, seized 5.35 kilos, 11.8 pounds of heroin and fentanyl, 1.17 kilos, or 2.6 pounds of cocaine, 14.4 pounds of marijuana, and 11.5 ounces of methamphetamine and other dangerous drugs such as Molly and ecstasy. The Vice Unit has also taken 38 firearms off the street, seized 25 vehicles, and also seized $284,862 in U.S. currency related to drug trafficking. To achieve these seizures, the Vice Unit has worked together to perform numerous undercover operations to include direct purchases of narcotics, long-term surveillance of operations, high-level buy-bust operations. These operations have led to over 25 successful search warrants and the arrest and prosecution of numerous drug dealers who were operating in the 5th District neighborhoods. For furthering the cause of law enforcement in the City of Cleveland and displaying a strong diligence to duty, it is an honor to bestow upon Sergeant Kevin Kincaid, Detective Jeffrey Yasinchek, Detective Donald Kopchak, Detective Charles Davis, Detective Sean Smith, Detective Robert Sauter, Detective Benjamin McCulley, Detective Nicholas Hairston, Detective Randolph Murphy, the Commander's Commendation. Congratulations, gentlemen. Now we would like to award the Citizen Pin. The Citizen Award Pin is awarded to civilians who contribute significantly to the furtherance of law enforcement within the City of Cleveland. Mr. Brett Miner, please stand. Brett Miner is the Youth Outreach Coordinator within the Ward 10 neighborhoods. He has worked hard He has worked hard to work with area stakeholders and institutions to improve the opportunities for our youth to achieve. Brent has done a great job planning events and improving police-community relations, and encouraged our neighborhood youth to meet each other and participate together in community meetings and events. Brent also works to support other programs and initiatives done by the St. Clair Superior Development Corporation and local organizations. We appreciate his commitment to teaching our youth about technology, nutrition, and other important career and personal goal growth subjects. He has successfully coordinated sporting events between the community and Cleveland Police, oversaw youth groups participating in technological competitions, and much more. He has made a positive impact in the 5 neighborhoods that are part of the Ward 10 in Cleveland. For furthering the cause of law enforcement in the city of Cleveland, it is an honor to bestow upon you, Brent Miner, the Citizen Award pin. This time, I'd like to bring the Community Relations Liaison, Rick Reynolds, back to the mic. Hide all that.
Good evening. My name is Rick Reynolds. I'm the 5th District Community Relations Representative from City Hall. I work closely with all the people out here tonight. And what I want to say is that we have 1,000 Brent Miners in this area that people go unnoticed, but they do a lot of work out here to bring this all together. And the Division of Community Relations, under the direction of Grady Stevenson, we offer a couple of awards to citizens who do outstanding jobs in the community. The first award is, we're going to award the Cleveland Job Corps. You look at an event like this and people don't know how hard it is to manage and get an event like this to go off swell. The Job Corps has always been very, very good in working with us, and we haven't been able to call on them for anything, and they have become a valuable institution in this community. They do everything. Bill Houston, Belinda Bray, the wonderful students at the Job Corps, every event that we give in the 5th District, from ice cream socials to celebrity football game to basketball game, they have been here on the ground floor with us, and we would like to recognize them as a valuable institution in this area. And with all that being said, besides all that, we have to honor the lady who actually helped us put this whole thing together, Harriet Hadley from the Job Corps. Thank you very much, Harriet. The second person we'd like to announce from Community Relations is a gentleman that I met a few months ago. I went up to Franklin D. Roosevelt Junior High School to talk about a program. And I noticed this young man in the hallways. And it was amazing how all the students just kind of warmed up to him. They seemed to absolutely adore him at this school. I don't care if it was a 3rd grader or an 8th grader. They just seemed to warm up to him. They seemed to really have his respect, and he seemed to really respect these kids, and he's doing a wonderful job out here in the community. Mr. Lowell King from FDR Junior High School and the Boys and Girls Club. Lowell also happens to be a member of my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. Give him hands up. Okay, at this point, we would like to announce the council awards. Is Councilman T.J. Dow here? Okay. Well, every year, each councilman in the 5th District picks out a person in their area that does a tremendous amount of work and should be getting the fifth district award for that actual area. And this year it's Jessica Horn from Ward 7. We'd like to thank you for all your tireless work in Ward 7. And you are TJ Dowd's recipient of this award. Is Ms. Horn here? Councilman Plinsick?
Good evening, everyone. To the mayor, to the command staff, to Rabbi Wolf, my honorable colleagues, Councilman Conwell, Anthony Hairston, and to all of you who've taken the time to come out tonight, I want to officially welcome you to the 8th Ward, okay? The 8th Ward, right here, okay? The garden spot of the east side, okay? Okay. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our commander. One of the things that I say so often, Mayor, and to the chief and the command staff at our neighborhood meetings, I'm appreciative of our commander, Commander Sammy Morris, and the people in the 5th District. We have a good commander, and I always look forward to working with him. And also, all of you who are gathered here tonight, one thing I hope when you leave tonight, that you remember that we're all in this together. If we don't look out for one another as brothers and sisters and set the tone in our neighborhood and on the streets of our community, then nothing positive will transpire and happen. Show me the best streets, show me the best neighborhoods, I'll show you where people care about each other and are engaged and involved, okay? And on that note, I want to take this opportunity to introduce the honoree for the 8th Ward, a young lady that I've got to know real well, who's committed to the East 152nd Street, East 156th Street area, who's working very hard with businesses in the area, who's taken this group from its infancy and growing it to a substantial neighborhood organization. They meet over at the Collinwood Rec Center. Their ranks have been growing every month. And what it's all about, she's setting the tone about people looking out for one another, engaging. She's concerned about our area. She's concerned about the Ward 8 community. And I look upon her as a friend. It's my pleasure to introduce the honoree for the 8th Ward, Dolores Houston. Dolores, come on up.
Councilman Conwell, will you come up and introduce your person?
Thank you very, very much. We might be in Ward 8, Michael Plinsick, but Job Corps. I heard what you said about them. Let me say this. Where is the director at Cleveland Job Corps? He has put on several job fairs right here, sometimes twice a year, with companies like Lincoln Electric, Frito-Lay, Coca-Cola. The list goes on and on to put people to work in the community. Because that's how you fight against crime, is by dealing with idle hands. Let me say this also with Cleveland Job Corps. Let a month go past. Isn't that right, Mr. Houston? I bring people up here for you to hire for jobs. He's always trying to figure out how to put people to work in our community. And this is how you keep families together and keep crime down. So if we're talking about keeping crime down today, the bottom line, and the mayor knows this, is the power of work. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. And you know what? We also teach the children project management because they're involved also putting people to work and they know their tasks, roles, and responsibilities. So once again, I want to thank you and thank you for hiring all of my residents to work for Cleveland Job Corps. Thank you and God bless. Now, we'll move forward. It's Cassandra Gibson, this beautiful lady with a lovely smile here. Come on up. Don't be shy or bashful. You're not shy when it comes down to keeping those bad guys out of the neighborhood. She is she's the block club president over at Park Place. I'm called at Jesse Jackson's place. And as soon as I became her councilman, she brought me in and she talked about cleaning her neighborhood up, keeping that area clean behind the East Side Market. And as you know, that's how we keep crime down, by keeping that neighborhood and area clean. And not only talking about it, she put dumpsters out there and got involved and work and coordinate with my other residents, my other bosses, because the residents are the bosses. She got involved doing that. The other thing that she worked with the city of Cleveland is to put surveillance cameras back there where Park Place at, so that when people try to do home invasions or whatever, it would keep her neighborhood and her areas safe. And she's never ever talked about anything about herself. Let me say this, Cassandra, you always talk about the people that's in your complex, helping them. So let's give her one more round of applause, and thank you very, very much. You're always good to help people. God bless.
Councilman Dow from Ward 7 just arrived, and we're going to let him announce his person and tell you a little bit about his person. Maybe she's come in the last 5 or 10 minutes, hopefully.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right, Ms. Horn, I don't see Ms. Horn, so I don't know if she's here, but she is a dynamite individual, and I know TV20's here, so I'm gonna say a whole bunch of good things about her, and she's my resident, so I want her to make sure she hear this. But she works at UMADOT, and when I go into UMADOT, I never leave out the same way. She's full of a lot of knowledge. You know, one of the things that I always do is listen to my seniors in my community and in my neighborhood, and they're always giving me good advice. And she's definitely one of them, and one of those individuals, when they call, you have to come running. As I'm sure you know, and some of your folks, you want to address everybody's issues and concerns, but there's some folks that are just so engulfed and so involved in the community. When they have an issue or a concern, you definitely have to get there and address it. So, and Jessica Horn is one of those individuals. She's not here tonight, but I wanted to come here, and I'll make sure she gets this, and just want to thank everybody as well. So, all right.
Councilman Johnson from Ward 10 is not here this evening. Presenting his award will be Anthony Hairston.
Good evening, everyone. Oh no, you all can do better than that. Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Reynolds said, I am Anthony Harrison. I currently serve as the Cuyahoga County Councilman for District 10, which you are in this evening. And on behalf of myself and Cleveland Councilman Jeff Johnson, we thank you all for being here tonight. and we've heard so many good remarks about our police. We all know that they cannot do it alone. So when you leave here and you drive home, please reach out to those that you know and that you love, and you tell them, please find a way to get involved in their community, because we cannot do it alone. Can you repeat after me? We cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. You know, they say you say it once, you say it twice, you remember it, right? So please, please, please reach out to those and let them know that. And to the police officers and everyone who was awarded here tonight, let the naysayers and let the doubters fuel your passion to continue the great work that you are doing in our neighborhood. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. You know, as Councilman Dow said, there's always so many people that you would like to honor in your neighborhood. Councilman Johnson and I have worked together closely, along with Councilman Mike Valenzik and Councilman Conwell, who I look forward to working with after November. It is always hard to pick that one person or to pick that group. So what Councilman Johnson and I did, we decided to go with one of our leading block clubs / civic clubs right here in Ward 10, and that is the Euclid Park Civic Club. Euclid Park Civic Club has been around for almost 2 decades, well, actually longer than 2 decades. They've assisted our former 2 commanders in ice cream socials at the Gruden Park. They've assisted with our Ward 10 Bike-a-thon. They've helped organize numerous cleanups in and around not only Euclid Park, but Ward 10. And so tonight we want to honor the club, and the 2 representatives that we have here tonight are Mr. and Mrs. Janelle and Robert Martin from Melbourne. Come on up. Mr. and Mrs. Martin have been residents in Ward 10, the Euclid Park neighborhood, for decades. And they are here tonight on behalf of the Euclid Park Civic Club to accept their awards and proclamations tonight. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming out, and I'm going to ask all the awardees to stand up. Everyone that received an award tonight to please stand up. And let's give them one more big round of applause. And again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out, and let's enjoy this beautifully prepared meal that's been prepared for us. Thank you.